nights in a row.
Yeah, not too bad, eh? Not too bad. Did you notice the concentration I had on that? Just Big Daddy was focused.
Deep thoughts.
He was
Big Daddy.
Deep thoughts. We should do a whole show on deep thoughts.
Okay, on that note.
Yeah. Well, never mind.
Who are we brought to
You haven't heard
everybody
my deep thoughts, have you?
FM 108.
Do I want to?
It's a bit I did, on our stations for a little while. So
No, I
Deep
haven't
thoughts.
heard it
It's the
by Tom Doodley.
by Tom Doodley. Tom Doodley was a famous.
Remember when you used to call your knees left and right,
yet.
and now you call them achy and breaky?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I've heard that before.
We're brought to you by FM108.ca, Canada's oldies station, 50s, 60s, 70s. You put our station on, and it's like a time warp. Nothing is heard from like 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And we'll tell you the news and the sports and everything else, but everything else is, we play old movie clips, and we have interviews with the stars of yesterday, the people we play, Bobby
Yesteryear.
Vinton.
Remember that term? Yesteryear.
People have often compared our station to CKOC, Oldies 1150, which I'm flattered by. And even though
But we're
we
better.
were competing stations at the other...
We do say so ourselves.
We're better. I'm biased, so.
No, people say that to me, which is because Nevin Grant at CKOC was one of my idols, you know what I mean? And to be compared to something he created.
And who do we have coming to our reunion at the end of the month?
We have Terry Steele's
Daughter.
coming.
Yeah.
And Terry Steele,
Chum FM.
no, Chum AM.
Yeah, Chum
John
AM.
Mayhem,
Sorry,
yeah, I was
Terry
gonna say.
Steele was known as the Bear, and he was my ultimate. I mean, him and Scott Carpenter and locally were my
There's
ultimate.
another name.
Yeah.
Scott Carpenter,
yeah.
wow.
Pat Bergen, and he's still around and a friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
He was at the reunion.
That's right.
So, it's, love it.
That's how I started out as about a 3-4-year-old kid sitting with my transistor radio. Chum AM.
My transistor
For
radio.
a long time.
Nobody
right.
quite said 1050 Chum the way Terry Steele did, though.
Yeah.
He was just
Yeah.
the man that, and to meet his daughter, actually meet somebody who knew him. I never met him, so I'm thrilled. But anyway, we got a radio reunion coming up for
September 29th here in
30th.
Halton Hills, Canada.
30th.
Or 30th, sorry, here in Halton Hills, Canada. So check it out. We've got information on our Facebook page all about it. And we
Big town of Acton.
Big town of
Acton, Ontario.
At the Red Harp, famous bar here in town. Great live music.
Great
and,
food.
Food is
Are you
awesome.
kidding?
It's always packed in
Sam
there.
and Jason have done an amazing job with that place, and we really look forward to it.
All right, who's going to lead off with what's going on here? ABBA.
You might as well
You
start.
might as
You
well
want me to start?
Let's go left to
Okay,
right.
this week in music history on the Top 40 Timeline video show. During the early 70s, ABBA's Bjorn and Benny were living together in a Volkswagen van and had decided to leave music and gain regular jobs. Manager Stig Anderson, you have to be careful the way you say Swedish names.
Oh
don't you?
gosh, yeah.
Stig Anderson persuaded them to start a new band, and ABBA were born. And
And
they were
became-
living in a Volkswagen.
Became stupid, crazy rich.
You know what?
and
I
you-
loved ABBA.
I still do.
My father was in love with the blonde Swede. He used
Oh,
to
of
always
course.
say, he used to always say, but look at the blonde Swede.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 14 years old, I was living in England and I heard Waterloo and I thought, wow, that's a great song.
Waterloo,
And then, of course,
Waterloo, baby,
then-
Waterloo.
but then along came Dancing
along
Queen,
came-
which
Yeah.
was the ultimate in production. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great
Oh
song.
yeah.
Just makes you feel
Well,
good when you hear it.
them and Boney M just kind of came out around the same
Yeah.
time and really just kind of
Yeah.
stormed North America with and as a DJ I DJ many weddings, blah 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 blah, and they're on the list every time.
Boney
And
M
it's
was-
Every
almost,
time.
it's almost like they were working their way into the disco era.
They
with
were.
that stuff,
They
right?
were
It was
real-
all kind of grooving into it.
Well,
like Rasputin's a great song.
When you look at when they tried to bring
Rasputin.
disco in the early 70s, 73, 74, when disco was, they were pushing it in, coming out of the new Motown and all of this stuff. These guys really just kind of went, and it exploded.
Yeah.
It just exploded because it wasn't just North America; it was worldwide.
everywhere.
It was worldwide.
You know what the
Swedish.
first disco song was?
Disco, Doc. I'm
No,
kidding.
no.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know. I
No,
just
that's not even-
I had to sing that because I knew he'd break out with
Rick
that.
Dees. He's still alive, isn't he?
Rick Dees, yeah.
Yeah, he's still-
He is, as far as I know, he
Yeah,
is.
Hi, Rick.
But the first one was George McRae's "Rock Your Baby." It's the first disco
Yeah.
song, apparently, according to many people. There's arguments, but
Yeah, because I've read
it wasn't, in fact,
otherwise.
Boogie
But,
Fever by the Silvers. When was the last time you heard that?
oh my God!
I played it this morning.
Now I'm gonna actually think of that next DJ gig I do. So
Yeah.
I listen to Soul Town and other things on my Sirius radio sometimes.
So
So,
many songs don't get heard
Yes, yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
They get buried in time.
oh god, yeah.
but I get to
because
hear
of
them
pure
on the different
numbers.
stations because
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of the older stuff. So.
All right, I'll do.
You take
carry
Prince.
on there.
Go.
Oh,
want me- I'll do
I
a
love
couple
this
more
one.
here.
We were chuckling
Yeah.
at this off air, so
Prince was a very
love-
quiet guy, right?
I
In
love
fact,
Prince.
Well,
I'm
Prince
a big
was once
fan.
quoted as saying, "I got more hits than Madonna's got kids." Bada boom, bada bing. Way to go, Prince. Love it.
I wish
and
I was
Gar-
behind the kit for that one. I could have given that rib shot.
Well, you could bring the
Yeah.
little box over, you know.
Simon and
do your thing.
Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson was originally called Mrs. Roosevelt. Oh,
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. Yeah, Roosevelt. Well, whatever. Banana.
That's the English version.
Tomato, tomato.
Most likely after First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, it became Mrs. Robinson when it was considered for use in the film The Graduate. And I'll do one more quickie here. I like quickies. A little bit of history and trivia for today. As of September the 4th, 1892, composer Darius Milhaud was born in Marseille, France. He taught jazz pianist Dave Brubeck at Mills College in Oakland, California. And so the stream
Yeah.
goes on.
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
Well, there's always every musician. There's always somebody that either inspires or teaches, or and they're just as important as that musician, in my opinion. So.
Yes,
Dave
definitely.
Brubeck is incredible.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God! Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Eat some shrooms and listen to some Dave Brubeck.
Oh.
I tell
Even
you,
without them,
man.
it's
you'll,
still.
you'll have it. No, you'll have a really good trip on that. I'm telling
Am
you.
I driving okay, man? We're parked, man.
1951, Frank Sinatra plays Vegas for the first time, performing at the Desert Inn Hotel and Casino.
Right on.
1959, with his Rat Pack, he becomes a top draw in the city.
God, yeah.
Oh, Sinatra was huge, man. Huge.
I still don't get why. But
But back in the day, you got to remember, you don't see it now,
You don't
but
love
look back in
Sinatra's
that
voice,
time.
man. I mean,
no,
you kidding?
he's average. I've heard way better voices.
Tony Bennett had a better set of pipes.
Absolutely.
Tony Bennett singing
Tony Bennett
I
was-
Left My Heart in San Francisco makes you want to cry.
He
It's
sang
so
with
beautiful.
emotion.
Yeah.
Sinatra sang with ego, in my opinion.
He was still a cool dude, man. Are you kidding?
The Rat Pack were fun.
That's
I think.
Sinatra,
I'll read a couple more and
baby.
you
Yeah,
can
you
pick
go,
up from
that's
there.
cool, that's-
1965, while The Who shop for a guard dog, their van and $10,000 worth of equipment is stolen. Looking for a dog.
Like,
In 1969, the Youngbloods, a rare rock band scheduled to appear on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, are scratched. Carson says it's because they were being disrespectful. The band says they were slated to play 2 songs, a new one and their hit Get Together. But when the show went long, the producers nixed the new song, so they walked.
Wow. I hadn't heard that one
well,
before.
I'd heard a bit about it. Was they were actually belligerent
supposed-
backstage.
Yeah,
There was
I
some-
see. I
there
don't
was
know.
some
This was
issues.
new for me.
You don't do that to
but-
Carson and
But
survive.
back in the day, that was
They
the
did,
thing.
though.
Like, you look at a stand-up comedian that got invited to go on Carson. After that, they were huge. After that, if you
Oh.
got
Well, he
got
was
him-
big.
Power he had.
the power this man had was absolutely incredible at that time. So yeah,
And
And
for
very
many
again, another
years.
cool dude. I like
take
Johnny
the
Carson.
small one there too. the 72.
1972, John Lennon and Yoko Ono appear on Jerry Lewis's Muscular Dystrophy telethon. I remember that one too.
Yeah, oh, God.
I
And
remember
we-
seeing that.
and
Why
we-
did that stop? Has it stopped now, or is it just not getting the focus?
I think a lot of it was
I think it's
with
stopped, isn't
Jerry, kind of, again, some stupid comments, getting drunk, and
Yeah, but people have mistakes in life. But what I'm saying is, he raised a lot of money.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. It was
muscular
interesting.
dystrophy,
And he
man.
had
I mean,
surprise guests
and
like
that
Frank
shouldn't be
Sinatra.
forgotten.
yeah. Oh God, there were
He
tons.
There
was
were
an
a few of
asshole
them.
at the end, though. You're right.
Oh yeah, no, there was a lot of issues.
Yeah,
that,
yeah, I saw an interview
that
he
came
had
out.
with somebody.
A few documentaries that have been done about it, and I think that just kind of, it was like, oh, if we just squeeze it out, then we could sweep it under the carpet, and nobody will know what was really going on. Let's jump into this. Over the years, Red Hot Chili Pepper singer Anthony Kiedis was involved with a legion of women, to say the least, some of which had celebrity status, such as celebs like Heidi Klum, Demi Moore, and even Madonna, as they were all reportedly linked to Kiedis at a certain point.
Yeah, right.
The list also extends to Sinead O'Connor, who served as an inspiration behind the band's tune, I Could Have Lied. However, O'Connor denied the story, saying, I never had a relationship with him ever. I hung out with him a few times, and the row we had was because, or the row we had was because he suggested we might become involved. I didn't give a shit about the song he wrote. We'll probably never know the exact truth, but the idea of Sinead and Anthony having sex does come as a peculiar one. Yes, that would be a very peculiar one.
For many reasons.
And that's even like when, people found out about Weird Al and Madonna being in a relationship as long as they were. People had no idea that this stuff goes on.
But they're actually behind what they actually do out in public. That's a lot of it's a front.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. All right, I'll do one more here. Walter Carlos, a collaborator with Richard Moog, the inventor of the Moog synthesizer, had a sex change operation in 1967, which would be absolutely bizarre back then. As Wendy Carlos, she went on to release Switched on Bach, an album in 1969, and composed and performed on the soundtracks for Clockwork Orange, The Shining, and Tron. So very cool. Clockwork Orange, again, eat some shrooms and watch that movie.
He actually looked quite good as a woman, actually, in my opinion.
Looked better, actually.
Yeah.
Leah,
He was very feminine looking, really.
The
So.
Shining was another good one, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Definitely.
creep you right out, that one.
Have you ever heard
Still to this day.
Have you ever heard Jack Nicholson in an interview? He's so articulate and perfect when he talks.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
Well, he's very, I just have to say.
You ever see that scene in the restaurant from that movie he was in where he wanted a sandwich?
As good as it gets or whatever, yeah.
Yep.
And he's
Classic
changing
stuff.
he's changing the silverware around, and it's
1957, Elvis Presley, flush from his new fame, gives his mom Gladys his pink 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood.
She was tickled pink.
tickled
He,
pink.
yeah,
Literally.
there you go. He loved his mom.
Oh, God, yeah.
Loved
He
his
never
mom.
got over it till the day he died.
To be honest with you, he was a mama's boy.
Yeah.
100%.
He was 100% a mama's boy.
100%.
I think
He
his
was
mom
destroyed
was
when she
sweet,
passed.
though. I think
Oh,
she
absolutely.
really
No,
was,
I'm
She
not
was.
putting him down in any way in that aspect of it, but it was just,
Yeah, I know what
he
you
was
mean,
that
yeah.
classic,
Yeah.
He had that attachment very close to his mom.
And he
He
had
never
a rough
got over
edge
it.
to him.
No.
He
Yeah.
never got over her
Oh.
death.
In the 50s and early
Hide.
60s.
You gotta hide, man. They're coming. Trying to hide this guy's not easy.
No, it's not. And you have to remember, fat people are harder to kidnap, okay? Remember that.
Yes.
1964, British group The Animals hit #1 in America with The House of the
House
Rising Sun.
Oh, the rise.
A folk song set in New Orleans about either a brothel or a prison dating into the 1800s. The first recordings of The House of the Rising Sun appeared in the 1930s, apparently. Its provenance is unknown, but the house in New Orleans is likely the Orleans Parish Women's Prison or a brothel that was active in the 1860s.
Wouldn't it have been both?
There you go.
Prison and brothel?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a woman's
I
prison.
guess that's how you look at it.
Well, you're doing some hard time.
That's right. Leadbelly, Woody Guthrie, Dave Van Ronk all performed it too. Bob Dylan included it on his 1962 debut album using Van Ronk's arrangement.
That's
Cool.
what the House
That
of the
I
Rising
didn't-
Sun is about.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll do a couple more. In 1971, while Wishbone Ash are on stage at an outdoor concert in Austin, Texas, hot dog vendor Francisco Carrasco is shot dead. A tragedy inspires the song Rock and Roll Widow. There's another one I did not know. Wow. Wow. 1987, American Bandstand airs on network TV for the first time. ABC picked up the show.
Last time.
Last time, pardon me. Boy, I'm having a hard time this week, aren't I?
It's the past and present tenses.
1987, I'll start it again. American Bandstand airs on network TV for the last time. ABC picked up the show. 1957, and throughout its run on the network, Dick Clark was the host. The show continued another year in syndication and aired one season on the USA Network in 1989. I have a connection to Dick Clark that's kind of two separations away. Never met him. Always wanted to. Never met him. But when I was a kid, I worked at CFGM Radio with Dave Johnson, who was one of the big guys on Chum. Dave worked with Dick Clark.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
That's my connection to Dick
Your
Clark.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah. Dave Johnson was one of my big brothers. I had like 50 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And there's more
Well,
DNA.
I put Dick up there with the Casey Kasem. You know, he was in that level of you know.
He dodged the bullet on payola, I think.
Yeah.
But everybody
They
was
all
doing
did it.
Everybody
They
was
all
doing it. It
used-
was
Yeah,
nothing
but Dick
wrong
wasn't
with
as
it.
big yet as Alan was,
I d-
and he was made the example of, in my opinion.
Well,
Oh,
Alan,
he was the main example.
he was the scapegoat.
And
He
there-
was the
and
one
there
that
was
they put out in the
tortured.
fire.
And there were others
Yeah.
that
Wrongly.
were accused, and they were supposedly blah 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 blah, that were still, you know, in my opinion, ostracized, or you know,
ostracized.
ostracized in the media, and then they kind of faded away, and it all got swept under the carpet.
But
like
but
everything
the
else
thing
does,
is
but-
they just needed one. And
Oh,
Alan
yeah.
was it.
Oh, well,
Alan
Alan
was
was the big
so well
one.
known, and he
Yeah.
was big at that time. The
Yeah.
other ones were just making it. They were starting to get there,
Yeah.
but they weren't as big as he was. So
Yeah.
who better to make an example of? Unfortunately, I think it made him
But-
a very sad man till he passed, but it was hard.
I agree.
Van Morrison was quoted in 2009. The Beatles were peripheral. If you had more knowledge about music, it didn't really mean anything.
That's some deep thoughts.
Some deep thoughts right there.
Some deep thoughts.
Anthrax guitarist Scott Ian was arrested in 1997 after being caught on security cameras trying to steal from the New York Yankees training camp.
That's funny.
I'll do one
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Oh yeah, go for it.
1968, working at Abbey Road Studios in London on George Harrison's song While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Eric Clapton added the guitar solo and became the first famous outside musician to play on a Beatles recording. And George recorded his lead vocal.
Yeah.
Do you know that great guitar riff on the beginning of Woodstock? Do you know who plays that? Neil Young.
Neil Young.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's immortal, man. That's one of the best pieces of guitar I've
Oh
ever
God,
heard.
yeah.
The beginning of the song, you know.
And to get it recorded that way, he never was able to recreate it.
I always felt bad for Neil Young. It's kind of off topic, but he had both his, I think it was sons, both had disabilities,
Oh,
severe
yeah.
disabilities,
Oh, yeah.
one right after the other.
I don't
That's
think
it's got to be
you know who
hard.
he lives with now, eh?
Yeah, we were
What's
talking
her
about
name?
that from Mermaid, not Mermaid. What's her name?
The
Splash.
show,
Daryl Hannah?
Daryl Hannah.
Daryl Hannah.
Him
Lucky
and
guy.
Daryl Hannah lived together.
Oh, that's
so-
right. I
yeah.
heard something about
That's pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah.
But people don't realize what a great guitar player he was, or is.
He's
Is.
very talented.
Was.
And he's from Omini.
And you think of
I have
how many people
in-laws that live there.
You go to any bar anywhere here in North America, at least that I know of, you're going to hear whatever band's playing. You're going to hear one of Neil Young's songs.
They have a little it's not that big, but they have a little spot in Omini outside of Lindsay where I was for 10 years. And it's actually like a little hall of fame for Neil Young.
Right.
Yeah.
Right in
yeah,
Omini.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
He actually owns property not far from here. We're in Halton Hills, Canada.
He's still Canadian.
He owns a bunch of land in
Beauty.
Fergus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns a
Really?
big farm up in Fergus. So, all right, jump into 1989. Motley Crue frontman Vince Neil punches Guns N' Roses guitarist Izzy Stradlin in the face during a MTV Music Video Awards.
I have to go home and Google that one.
Earlier in the evening, Neil and his bandmates
Seriously.
presented GNR with the award for Best Heavy Metal Video for Sweet Child of Mine, one of the songs that just actually curls my skin, which Steven Adler and Duff McKagan actually accepted. Later, Stradlin and Axl Rose joined Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers on stage for Free Falling.
Wow.
And when Stradlin comes off, Neil pops him one right in the kisser, and how hard he gets hit is up for debate. Well, Stradlin saying he just got grazed by Neil's ring, Neil claiming he decked him good. Axl takes up the cause, mocking Neil's powder puff punch and challenging him to a fight. This leads to an ongoing feud between the singers, and the rumble never happens. So why did Neil go after Stradlin? Neil claims Stradlin got physical with his wife during an encounter at a club in L.A.
Oh.
And you want to talk about egos?
There you go.
Egos just out of hand. And if you actually look at
Well,
Axl
Axl,
Rose
oh my God.
and you look at Vince Neil today, I wouldn't pay you $1 to go see you guys perform in concert. Sorry.
So it's kind of like Motley Crue versus Guns N' Roses.
Yeah,
huh?
like
That's
it's
cool.
just.
I have no idea about
All
that.
right, I'll finish this one
I like to
off.
surprise you every now and then.
Wow.
These are some of my favorite people, so I'll do this one here. 2002, Ian Astbury, grew up in Hamilton, by the way, on lead vocals, and Stuart Copeland, one of my idols, on drums. Ray Manzarek, of course, of the Doors, and Robbie Krieger, again of the Doors, performed their first concert as the Doors of the 21st Century. The show is part of Harley Davidson's open road tour at the California Speedway in Fontana, and I highly recommend look up the video of this.
It's amazing.
Ian Astbury, I swear he channeled.
Jim Morrison.
I swear, watch the video of this. I am telling you,
It is.
look
I've
for
seen
this.
it. It's amazing.
It is absolutely, if you're a music fan, don't even
Especially
have
a
to,
Doors fan, but yeah.
you don't even have to be a
Especially.
Doors fan.
No.
I am telling you, it is, Ian Astbury channels him. It is really, really creepy.
2006, a man named Paul Van Valkenburg from Florida died of lung cancer. An obituary published in a local paper was picked up by the Associated Press, which ran a short obituary of the dead man, but giving him the wrong name. The real Paul Vance, who was alive and well and living in Coral Springs, Florida, contacted local media after viewing a report of his death on local TV. Oh my goodness. He announced that, can you imagine that? He announced that he was still alive. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm still alive. And he was able to prove this with a stack of royalty checks from ASCAP from his biggest hit,
Itsy bitsy teeny weeny little polka dot bikini.
There you go. He told a reporter for the New York Times that his relatives and friends, shocked by the AP report, had called him to check on him after the media reports.
Meanwhile, some of these people probably hadn't contacted this poor bastard in about 10 years.
Jesus Christ.
And then they saw it and went, oh my God.
It's the
my
Itsy
friend."
Bitsy man.
Yeah, it's the Itsy Bitsy guy.
What are you doing there, Paul? Well, I'm just sitting there watching the news. Wait a minute. I'm
That's
dead.
me.
Collecting my royalty checks.
I'm not in a wood box.
Funny stuff.
So,
2010, Morrissey caused controversy after he claimed that the Chinese were a
Leave it to Morrissey.
subspecies because of the way they treat animals. In an interview with UK paper The Guardian, the former Smiths frontman said, "Did you see the thing on the news about their treatment of animals and animal welfare? Absolutely horrific. You can't help but feel the Chinese are a subspecies."
no, I don't know
Now
if that's
that's
brave or
wrong.
stupid, only
That's-
because I get what he's
that's
saying, but
stupid thing to say.
that's
stupid.
that is
I don't
racist
agree.
in its fullest
God, yeah.
context.
But I
and
don't agree with the treatment of animals.
I don't either. And that's what I said.
But they might not agree with our treatment, the way we treat them.
whatever, you know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
But you
it's
don't
different.
go around
All
saying
cultures
stuff
have their own way of
You
doing
can't-
things.
You can't just.
You can't judge.
We're the better race because
can't
we
judge.
do that. No, you can't do that. It doesn't.
You
It
can't
doesn't work
judge.
that way.
But
in
Morrissey will.
in a democratic
So
society.
I see that Morrissey and Xi Jinping are not getting together for lunch.
No, not
Not
likely.
not anytime soon. All right, we got to get going through these.
In an attempt to fool internet piracy, we're almost done. Advanced copies of Coldplay's 2005 album X and Y were credited to the Fir Trees.
Oh, cool. That I didn't know.
Yep. The Edge of U2, the greatest.
Who?
Huh?
The
The
Edge.
Edge.
Not the Who.
Who the hell's
the
the
Edge.
Edge?
You're
It's a
joking,
radio
right?
station in Toronto.
You're
isn't
joking.
it?
Yes,
You're
I'm
joking.
joking.
I figured you were.
I'm joking.
I knew you was. Yeah, it's not the radio
But I
station.
got you.
I was like, he doesn't know. How does he not know who the Edge
He's
is?
just farting around.
I don't
there, that's
think.
all.
How does he not? You too, the Edge. You don't know who you. What? I'm like, okay, he's joking. He's got to be pulling my leg. So the Edge of U2, the greatest threat to career. This is what he was quoted. Sorry, the greatest threat to the career of this band or any other band is financial success.
No kidding.
Which has a bit of truth to it. When you see a
to
lot of
some
these
extent,
musicians
yeah.
that get money, and then you find out 3 years later they're broke, and yeah,
They
like,
disappeared. 1991, U2 were fined £500 after being found guilty of selling condoms illegally at the Virgin Megastore in Dublin. I want to look at that more further because why would they do that?
It's bizarre, man.
that is bizarre.
And they were already
Or were like maybe they were U2 like printed condoms? So
I don't know,
that's
but
bizarre.
I've often wondered though.
That's a sad.
There's something about that.
A sad day in my history, and I got the chance to meet him, and I got the chance to watch him live on stage. Keith Moon of The Who dies at the age of 32 after overdosing on medication that is supposed to help him overcome his other addiction.
And he was
his other
reformed
addiction.
already at that point too.
Not really.
That's what Roger Daltrey interview I saw.
Well,
he said he was done and he was doing really well.
They were saying that, but he was in Betty Ford at the time, and he was trying, and he was trying. It wasn't. He was trying.
Well, Roger said he was doing really well.
He was really far gone. I met him in '75, and then he was a basket case. But then I watched them play, and I was stunned at the dexterity this drunk, stoned man
Well,
had.
he was looser.
Oh, it was insane to watch, and that's when I became. He's really. I'd actually have to say he was my first idol. You know, anything. My first idol, really.
You know what happened this week in history in 1985?
Go for it.
For the first time in the rock era, the top 3 songs on the Hot 100 were all written for movies. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 was St. Elmo's Fire, Man
Yeah.
in Motion by John Parr. Born in Nottingham, England, the same as me. Number 2, The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the
Great
News.
tune.
Love that song from Back to the Future. And number 3, it was Tina Turner and We Don't Need Another Hero from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. There you go. And we got time for anything? How are we doing for time?
Yeah, keep going. We're good.
Are we? 1985, St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion hits number 1 in the U.S., as we mentioned.
Yep.
David Foster and John Parr wrote the song for the film St. Elmo's Fire. It was more of an
It was
instrumental,
actually. That's exactly what it was written for. It was Rick Hansen. Rick Hansen and David Foster are very good friends.
But they wrote it about Rick Hansen,
Yeah.
who went around the world in his wheelchair raising money for spinal cord research on his Man in Motion tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The St. Elmo's Fire theme is haunting. It's
Yeah.
one of those instrumentals that sticks to you.
Oh, very much so,
Like, you know...
Chariots of Fire.
yeah,
Even.
Chariots of
that,
Fire.
It's that
It's
very
the same
haunting,
kind of
like you
thing.
say. That.
And Green Onions. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's a powerful
Yeah.
instrumental. I thought I'd throw that in there. Ryan Adams shoots this video for the song New York, New York, with the World Trade Center in the background. 4 days later, the buildings are destroyed in terrorist attacks. When the video is released, it is dedicated to the victims. There's another one I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And you know, I got to tell you guys something. If you go around the corner, we live here again, Halton Hills, Canada. If you go around the corner, Church Street, the next stop sign, there is an I-beam sticking out of the guy's house with his number in it, and that is from the World Trade Center.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Norm went down.
Not nice, but
Norm went down, and he spent
Said that
a
wrong.
long time down there helping, and they gave him a piece. So that was very cool.
That was a day that will live in infamy.
Actually, infamy for sure. So,
One of those.
all right, Leah, what's Jim Kerr talking about?
So in 2008, while performing the song Morning Glory, where did you just got?
Oh.
There we go.
Sorry.
Okay, he doesn't want to hear that one. All
No,
right,
I
well,
don't
go on to the next.
I don't give a shit about that one.
All right, we're going to try this again. 2008, while performing the song Morning Glory at the V Festival in Toronto, Noel Gallagher of Oasis is attacked by a concert goer who rushes the stage and pushes him into his monitor. The band continues the show, but Gallagher is taken to a hospital that night to treat injuries to his ribs. He suffers a fractured rib and ligament damage, which forces the cancellation of several Oasis concerts.
He's an idiot anyway.
This is so true,
Jim?
too.
Jim Kerr of Simple Minds was quoted. Basically, I know I saw this and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Basically, all footballers want to be rock stars and all rock stars want to be the footballers.
Not at
That's
all.
right, it's true.
I have no interest in being a footballer.
Not you necessarily, but we're talking.
He's talking about Rod Stewart, who...
No.
Look at
Yeah.
Beck.
Rod Stewart.
Back, yeah.
Beck.
All of them.
Yeah.
They are all kind of somehow connected, right?
Rod Stewart. Here's the
So-
story, quick. I know you. How
We're almost done.
Yeah.
This is our last run.
I just want to say Rod Stewart could have been a professional soccer player. That's all I want to say. Celtic United.
Well, and Elton John owned a whole
Watford,
team.
Watford.
Now,
Right, so
now he can
it's
go
like-
own the whole freaking league.
Yeah.
He made more money as a rock star than he ever would have as a player. All right, the first 45 RPM disc, Texarkana Baby, by country and western singer Eddie Arnold, was issued by RCA in the U.S., and it was made of green vinyl as part of an early attempt to color code singles. According to their genre of music, they featured others included red for classical and yellow for the children.
And there was a whole bunch of
chitlins.
colors.
Yellow
They only
for the
mentioned a
chitlins.
couple. There was actually
Yeah.
a whole color coding
Yeah,
system
it was
with
like a
all of
rainbow
them.
of colors.
All
Like
different genres of music.
Was it yellow for the young'un?
a yellow
It
for the
was
young
yellow
ones.
for the young.
The chitlins, them
Oh,
chitlins
Brady.
outside. So, all right, our last one here, Russ. You might as well finish her off.
We Will Rock You
We're okay.
has often been assimilated to a song of rebellion, but
That's true.
it has a rather melancholy content about the futility of man. It tells the life of a boy who dreams of a better life. He becomes a rebellious young man, battling to reach lofty goals, but in reality without a specific purpose. The song ends with an old poor man who is defeated, full of unfulfilled desires and regrets. Regrets, that too. Not regrets. May was
Bugs Bunny over here.
May was inspired by a popular Czech lullaby in which parents promised a child, "We will rock you to sleep," meaning we will lull you.
Yeah.
For others, the refrain means we will shake you.
Oh,
And
great.
I had no idea.
Go to sleep.
You know what? That is
We
something I
will,
always...
we will.
Rock you, shake you, shake you.
Now,
Go to sleep.
I grew up thinking that song was about rock and roll, and it's about
No.
lulling a baby to sleep.
Yep.
Isn't that something? And what a theme to end on.
So you do one, I'll do one, and you do one, and we're
All
done.
right.
There you
Okay,
go.
there you
You can
go.
do the next one.
Go to Hoboken 4.
Go. You do the next one.
Oh,
We got three left.
1935, the Hoboken Four featured a 19-year-old Frank Sinatra,
Your
one of
favorite.
Lee's favorites. Appears on NBC's popular radio program Major Bose and his original amateur hour. They sing the Mills Brothers song "Shine" and earn the most votes in the history of the show. 40,000 people called in for that.
Can you imagine? That was in
1935.
That's
1935. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah,
That just goes
absolutely.
to show you, eh?
No, Frank was just very overrated.
Eh.
Way better
1950.
performers.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot back then either, so he stood out. It is what it is, eh? 1954, the DJ Alan Freed makes his move from Cleveland to New York, where he begins broadcasting his Alan Freed's Rock and Roll Show on WINS, WINS. The first white DJ to play black music, Freed brings R&B music to a wider audience in New York, and the sound quickly goes mainstream with the rise of Elvis and the popularization of rock music.
And
was
that's
on
what,
WHK.
that's what I love about. Everybody talks about Alan Freed taking payola. He did so much, man. Everybody talks about the negative. What about the positive this man did?
Yeah.
Insane what he did. Like,
Because that's always what happens. Somebody does something that
Bad.
they're spotlighted on.
Yeah.
People
You're
thought
right.
that Freed started
I mean-
in New York. He didn't. He started in Cleveland a year before
Oh,
that,
God,
or
yeah.
years before that,
Yeah.
on WJW.
Well,
in
there's,
1953, 54, I think, 54.
What's that tune that's done about him? They used it on the Drew Carey show.
Oh, there's so
Oh
many.
yeah. I
Anyway,
remember.
He put
Alan
bugs in
Alan
them.
was a pioneer. Forget the one stupid mistake he made
But
that
it was-
everybody else was
they
making
were
at
all
the time.
doing.
He's
or
just the one.
many
He's
were.
the one who got caught and was the biggest personality.
He died of a broken heart.
He did everything for what we know as radio today. So, and finishing it off, 1965, an ad appears in Variety looking for 4 insane boys, 17 to 21, to star in a new TV show that they called The Monkees.
Hey,
I actually
we're
posted the ad.
monkeys. Yeah.
With when I posted this, I actually posted it with the ad,
Did I ever tell you the time
but
that
looking for them, and it did say that
Yeah.
exactly that. 4 insane boys, aged 17 to 21.
I was doing my show one night at FM 108 back in 1980 something, early 80s, and I did 7 to midnight, and I was there, and we were playing songs, and in walks Peter Tosh.
Yeah.
Peter
Peter
Tosh.
Tork.
Peter
Yeah.
Tork.
Torque. I was going to say
Jesus
Peter.
Christ.
Is he related to?
No. In walks Peter Tork with my boss Norman B. And Peter Tork actually bought Big Daddy a pizza.
Right on.
I think you told us that
Yeah.
once before.
Yeah.
I remember. I
Wanted to
remember
say
that
that.
conversation.
Anyway,
All right, we're wrapping
So-
things up now.
FM 108.ca, Canada's oldie station. I'm on in the mornings. We've got.
Oh, she's off her phone.
She's off her phone.
Quick,
Yeah.
quick, get her over here before it goes
This
do-do-do-do-do.
is Amanda,
And she
our-
got to go grab it again.
Amanda does a lot of our local. She has her own local show. This is Amanda, and she's also the local news caster for the local station, and she does air radio worldwide news with me sometimes. So there, now you know who Amanda. You go, oh, there's Amanda. That's what Amanda looks like.
She's
Yeah,
better
she-
looking than all of us.
Well,
Well, gee, thanks a lot.
yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
Again, I get put down underneath the pile.
I came
Really?
out wrong. Sorry. That's not the way I meant it.
I'm only kidding.
I'm talking about him and I.
Do we
It
have
kind
too
of
much
didn't come
fun?
out that way, you know?
I know.
Do we?
Right? Right? It just didn't kind of come out that way, right?
Foot in mouth.
I'd say
You just
up
buried
to your
yourself,
knee.
buddy.
Up to
Let's
your
get
knee.
out of here. and
Until
hide.
next week. Uniting community worldwide, except Lee apparently is not completely on that page yet, but we're working on him.
Boy, we have too much fun. Can I do my thing now?
We do have too
Please.
much.
Don't touch your thing.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me for a second. I'm busy. Can't you see?
Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for tuning
We'll
in.
see you later.
This is all scripted, by the way. We write our own scripts.
I guess my memory is better than I thought.
Better looking than any of us. Oh, sorry.